Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. I'm back from the office, and I now have time finally to make the showcase for the new EX Unbound Sinister Knight Violet. The DPS of the Festive Memories team, AoE DPS, which actually makes her a bit better. But she is fire, physical, Festive Memories, Primal Demon, and Schemer. Uses a sword, which I have one sword. I might have to make a new one. But her ult, as I said, is AoE, so 340%, and then an EX ult is going to do 680%. This is her without dupes. This is her without any of the investment on her Unbound board, so none of these extra nodes are done. So that is the cap of what you're going to get off of a base level 100 Violet, 680%, which is obviously higher than what normal EX units do, because they do just a flat 600. Or, yeah, 600? Yeah, well, hold on. Yeah. You're maxed out. What are you doing? 320. So they would do 640. Okay, so we're doing a little 40% more. But Ahsoka is done. Okay, well, taking a look back at her for her first skill, 80% attack, so just basic attack, only for physical characters. And then after 8 turns gives you the 120 skill points that the Festive Memories team needs to use the other 2 buffs from Momiji and Maribel. Her second skill is a free triple alt swap for fire alts into blues, and then stacks 10% fire attack for herself every single time you use it. So definitely a DPS character, and her being AoE means that she'll have value in Jubilee normal stages. She can still do decent damage as really for single target stages. She's not limited. She can do both, which is good. She is our first Unbound AoE ult, so let's see what she can do on her actual team with all the buffs active. All right, so full Festive Memories team: Albus, Ritus, Momiji, Maribel, Violet, and then Idle Shuna for the synergy buff, which we can use in this. I don't think you can use it in Jubilee, but this isn't Jubilee. Full Festive Memories team, which means everyone's going to be able to get shields from Maribel, and we're going to stack a lot. We have the alt swapper, only going to hit her and Shuna, though, which is kind of an unfortunate thing. So you know what? I actually might swap these two that way, because Shuna's going to be up front a lot. So probably better off that she has this, and then we'll change the support for Momiji. We'll do that, and we'll just jump in. Alright, so Shuna has been sealed. Not a big deal. She's going to be up front quite a bit. We'll use the Ritus Orb change first. That puts weakness resistance down on the enemy. And then we can use the alt swap, because we're not going to have alts for a while, probably. So this is just free 10% fire attack for her, and it's going to get passively reset over time. So that's going to make this very, very useful to just giving her more and more damage potential. And blues do not get us a lot of ult, so it's going to be a long time before we need to use that for realsies, depending on how many orbs we get. Well, that's a bit unfortunate. We'll get a little bit extra points from Shuna's trait, so I think we should be able to use something here. Yeah, okay. Well, no, because we have 3 greens. Alright, well, we'll be back when we have a good turn too, then. Okay, well, the immediate next turn worked out pretty well for us, because 1, we can orb change, and 2, we only have Shuna and Violet orbs, which really helps us in getting those extra alts eventually. So let's take Momiji out. We'll bring Maribel in. We'll use her orb change, give us a barrier, give us a couple other barriers. Unfortunately, we don't have the traits to get a double stack, but not a big deal. We don't have any other points to do anything else. A little bit of a heal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And next turn, the alt swap will be set back down to 0 cost, so we can use it again for free. Or you could continue to use it over and over. It really is up to you if you want to use it every single turn. That's a good hand. Also, wow, only... Sure. Alright, well, more barrier. Cool, let's do that. And then we'll bring in Ritus, I guess, and we'll do another barrier. and this will also give us extra pierce power. Now we can do a double stack. We'll use the alt swap again for another 10% fire attack. And now that we have this team, now that it's full Festive Memories, now that we have the unit that's going to give us the skill points necessary to do what we need to do, like, this is going to work a whole lot better. Right now, we just have a lot of skill points, though, right? Because we can only use so many things in a turn that are useful. This isn't like a reset and multi-use thing like Divine Generals was. We're going to have a lot of points, and right now, everything is pretty cheap. 52k on that 200% orb. That's a decent hand. Now we have an alt, so now it actually kind of matters. All right, she really hates Ritas for some reason. Let's do the alt swap. And then what do we need to do? We need to do the Ritas orb change. Boom. We'll let her shield go back down, and we'll bring Maribel in. And then we'll use her convert. Boom. And now that's this. Wow, we already have 5 barriers in these two. That's pretty impressive. Let's add another one to it. So we're already capped out. If we were to use Maribel's weakness strike buff and alt buff, like, we would yoink everything and we'd have the full 150%. So the fact that we have every character who is available to get the shield from Maribel makes it a lot easier to stack those up. And now we have 2 characters that are going to share the damage, but we're going to have 5 stacks guaranteed on Violet, and it's only going to go higher because she's almost never going to get hit. So I mean, this is working out. We'll use the alt swap again. It's going to stay relatively cheap, and we need to use another... And do we hold on to that and let it reset? I think we do. Let's bring Ritas in for Maribel. Use her green convert. Use her shield again. It'll go onto herself because she has the lowest HP. And then we'll take her out for Momiji, whose orb change has also been reset. Alright, now this means that the only person going to get hit is Shuna, who has 5 stacks now. It's going to protect her from a lot of damage. Not all the damage, but a lot of it. 4, 5, 6. We almost have the EX ult, which means we can almost send... Okay, that's unfortunate. We can almost use the synergy buff and then send Violet away so she can hold on to that, because that's the only buff that we can't use on the nuke turn, because Violet's buff and then the 120 skill points and the 60 that's left over is going to completely drain us once we use Momiji and Maribel. Okay. Please give me some Violet orbs here. I think we just need 1 or 2. Maybe 2. Alright, there's 2. That works out for me. Oh, perfect. Alt swap. Boom. We will bring in Ritas for funzy onesies, because we got the points for it. Why not? Shield onto her, or maybe Shuna. And then we'll bring Maribel back up front. We'll use her orb change. Boom. And then double barrier again. This is turn 6. This is the final turn that Trainee is very scary. This is Dire 1 difficulty, so she has quite a bit of HP. 7.5 million left over still. So we're going to very easily eclipse that. Very, very easily. But by how much? I'm not exactly sure. I'm really not sure. I did make a new weapon for Violet. She does have an extra 15% pierce power, which isn't that great, but it's better than nothing. Alright, so there's the ult. Alright, cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, and that's it. So, let's use the synergy buff now. Boom. We can send her away. After... Do we have the points for this? I don't think we have the points for it. Okay. I think we're just gonna have to burn a turn here, unfortunately. Yeah, we didn't get that lucky here, so let's do this. I don't want Maribel to die on accident, so we're just gonna send her away too. Let's do this. Let's send these green orbs, get them out of here. Shuna, 359? Okay. She's got the synergy buff, she's had the alt buffs. We're gonna miss a turn, unfortunate, but we do need to make up. So we're actually gonna miss 2 turns, because we need to stack up this turn, get back up to 150 skill points, which we can definitely do here. So let's bring Maribel in for Shuna. Yeah, for Shuna. Boom. And then we can orb change barrier. So take care of that green. We'll change those oranges. We'll add another barrier onto here. And now hopefully we will have enough with the barriers that Violet is going to have in the back line. And now we're capped out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Please don't take everything. I want the full 10 stacks. Alright. Oh, just one AoE, so okay. Perfect. And we have some Ritas orbs, which is even better. So let's bring Violet in for Ritas. We cannot use any skill here, except for Violet and then the 2 big time buffs. There's just no points available. So, we've got 8, 9, 10. Perfect. We would have actually more because of Albus, which we're going to do. So let's do that. So we're going to successfully cap out the weakness strike from Maribel. But first we need to use the Dark Desire realization. So 80% attack, 120 plus the 60 left over equals 180, which is enough to use the 2 big time buffs. So this is what we needed for this team to operate efficiently. Now we have 180. Now we use the 2 big time skills and we are left at 0. Actually 0. So let's take a look what she's got. She's got 15% from Barrier Stone. Okay, whatever. 270% just from stacking with Albus. 120 EX ult damage. And then on her own buff, she's got 20% weakness strike, again from a Barrier Stone. So she's going to be a bit more powerful than what she normally would be. 30% pierce power from using the Ritas barrier skill. Synergy power, attack, weakness strike, guaranteed pierce. And then Trainee herself has weakness down. That's also from Ritas. And then the 130 ult resistance down. She's going to hit really, really, really hard, probably. How hard? I don't know. Let's send one nerf to green and let's find out. Well, I guess we could do this too. I don't think she would kill. I don't think she would kill. But I also don't want to risk it. Let's just send the nerfed and we'll call it a good. So we could have gotten an extra 25% weakness strike here. 51k. Oh, it's not impressive, but the orb is nerfed. So, I would hope that we would kill, right? I would hope that we would do 7 million damage here, or 8.5, or whatever her max HP is. I feel like we have a lot. The ult is fine. 16 million. Well, that's a bit higher than I was expecting, actually. 16 million. Again, that's with the 2 barrier stones helping us, and some enchantments on her weapon, which is 15% pierce power, so... Probably, realistically, with no enchantments and no barrier stone, she's probably doing about 13 to 14 million, somewhere in that range. It's still respectable. It's still good damage, but if you do not have this Violet, like you actually cannot do that kind of damage with this team, because you have no way to use both Maribel and Momiji's skills together. So that is like the big kicker. Like there's no way in this team setup that you could attempt to do 16 million damage or anything over probably like 10 million damage without having a stacking protector that's different, like Ogre's Pride or something. Like you can't do it with Albus. You need Violet, which means that you then need 2 big time buffers, and you need the shields, because obviously like we were pretty close to dying on this team on a few characters. We needed the barriers, so I really don't think there's a lot of substitutable options here, unfortunately. It's either you use the Festive Memories team, or you use some other kind of stacking team that I've shown off that has some kind of defensive mechanic, whether it be Earth Trainee or Skill Fused Light Shizu or something like that. It's just like, she is the linchpin. And it's nice that she's the DPS, and she's AoE. That was an AoE ult doing 16 million damage. If it was a single target, probably would have done about 18 to 19 million. So, just keep that in mind. Maybe not that high, but it would have been higher. So, I mean, that's really good damage on this one team. What happens when you take her off the team, though? Alright, we're going to try using Violet just as an example piece on a team where she is not the focus. She is not the nuking character. And we're going to have her support other physical allies, because she gives all physical allies an attack buff, which, if we run Commander with Hinata as our nuking character, because we're going to go against Tempered Edge Veldora, who's dark, we currently have a team that does not give attack. Diablo's going to give synergy, Lumi's got the light buff, Shizu's got the orb change, and the physical, and the EX alt buff. Hinata has her own alt buff and synergy down, plus the orb change. Violet will have an attack buff, which will work well, because it's a buff that we're not currently getting. However, we're not going to be able to really use the alt swap. And this is where the problem starts to arise, because if you have a bunch of fire characters, great. Are you going to want to use 3 fire characters or 2 fire characters on every single team ever just to make her useful? I don't really know about that. So let's try and get at least a turn 2 for a good hand, and we'll bring you back. Okay, well, I guess we're just going to use Shizu instead. Nothing we can really do about that. Using the alt swap right now would not benefit anybody except for Violet herself, because it's only giving her a fire attack buff. It's not going to help Hinata or even Shizu do more damage. It's just a personal thing. And then the extra attack buff, like, that's cool and all. It's great. 80% is higher than what most attack buffs are that are team-wide, right? So we have, like, Exalted Champion Rimuru, who's doing 70%. We have Space Rimuru doing 40%. Light Milim doing 45%. Like, it's definitely high. However, on the other side of that, like, do I want to bring her instead of another character? And to that, I would probably say, yeah, not really. Not really. Why? Well, because she's just not that useful. Because I could just bring Exalted Champion Rimuru, and I'd have a 70% attack buff, which isn't as good, but it's still good, and I would have the ability to alt swap 3 orbs, or 3 alts into rainbows. Granted, it's only one time, but it's still more useful than what her alt swap is going to do, which is not going to hit the nuking character. It's only going to hit her and Commander Shizu, who we're not looking like we're going to get an alt for. So, while she is a good DPS, and she does have support capabilities, I think this Violet is only going to be used on a team where she is meant to nuke. Like, I don't foresee her having really, really high potential in supporting other teams, because she's quite restricted, honestly. So, does that make her a good unit to summon for? Not really. Like, yeah, you can do a lot of damage, but we're about to be able to do a lot of AoE damage with Fire Christmas Velzard anyways, in the next 10 days or so. So it's like, she's quite old. She's 2 years old. You might have her already. In fact, I'd be surprised if you didn't. But here, like, I have a Lumi ult. I don't want a Lumi ult, but there's nothing I can do about it, because we can't alt swap with Violet for a Lumi ult, because she's light. So we can certainly bring her in. Does it really make a difference? Not really. Not really. So she'll be really good as a fire nuking character, and that's what she's meant to do. Her attack buff, I would just proclaim as only for herself, realistically. Outside of that, outside of the Festive Memories team, I'm not really going to find a lot of use for those extra skill points. That it's quite excessive on any normal... Okay, what is that hand? Okay, well, I guess we're going to be able to use Diablo here. That'll be cool. Look at all these Diablo orbs. All right, Diablo multi-use skill. All right, let's get that in. Let's get you out, and then we'll use this orb change. Boom. And actually, we don't actually have to use that. We can just play around like this. All right, a lot of Shizu orbs. So maybe we're gonna get an ult for her. 1, 2. Boom and boom. Perfect. We didn't actually have to use Diablo skill, but it costs nothing. Violet's alt swap would cost nothing, and we're gonna get an ult for, I think, her and Shizu here. So we actually will get some use out of this for our 2 characters that I don't really care about. Wait, are we gonna get a Shizu ult? Close. We'll get a Violet ult though. So we have 1 guaranteed alt orb. That's now a blue. I guess it's better than nothing. Man, Hinata. You know that part about you being the nuker? It's really not working out here. It's really, really not working out here. Alright, alt swap that. Okay, that's now a blue. fine and dandy. Let's do... let's... Let's just do this. Convert, convert. Boom, boom. We can at least get a Hinata ult. Will it make a difference? Well, actually, maybe we might actually get some points out of this. Hold on. We may have found a use for it. We're going to have max 450 points. Is that enough to use everything available? Or do we actually need the 120 extra? Find out today. We're not going to get the EX ult buff from Shizu, which is kind of unfortunate, but we literally got like one Hinata orb a turn. That's not my fault. Okay, let's do that. Let's do this. Boom. Boom. Let's bring Lumi in for Shizu. Use her light buff. Boom. And then let's use Diablo. His synergy buff, 90 points. Boom. And we have just enough to use the Violet buff. So we're going to get 120 skill points here. We don't actually need 120 skill points, though. So it is excessive. 140 points. I mean, what are we going to... We could orb change, I guess. Cool Beanos. We can get the multi-hit. I guess that's something. Better than nothing. So, did we benefit? Sure. Let's see how much we do here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 26,000? 200,000 damage. That's quite a bit. 152 Hinata with a normal ult. And we'll watch this. I mean, that's a lot of damage. Did the team work? I mean, technically it did. Maybe I'm selling her a bit short. Not really talking about her height, but her value. Well, see, that's why we do these videos. 1.7. You know, I kind of expected a bit more there. Based on her doing like 200k hit. It wasn't an EX ult. We were missing half of the Shizu buff to begin with. Unfortunate. But, hey, it worked. It did actually work. But, see, I think the problem that I'm trying to get at is if we look at the list of characters that have released, right? So Divine General is magic with no fire characters. Octagram Demon Lord is magic with, well, it's only one unit, but still. Antagonist, magic, no fire units. Protector of Peace, physical, no fire units. Ogre's Pride, a lot of fire units, magic though. So Determination to Prosper, Fire and Earth, magic. Commander has one fire character. So the chances of you actually getting use out of this Violet on a lot of teams is not very high, because most of the teams that have come out recently that are really good are magic focused. A lot of the older teams are physical. New Year's Blessing doesn't have a fire unit. Tempest Elite does. He's already got an attack buff though. I don't want to bring a 90-point skill on that team. Primal Demon has no fire characters. So unless you're going to try and like shove her in somewhere and try and cope into using her efficiently, like, you can, sure. But I'd rather just bring a different unit. I'd rather just leave Violet as she is, as a pretty competent AoE fire nuking character that just gives herself an 80% attack buff and some fire buff. That's what she's meant to do. The fact that she has support viability is great. It's just quite limited. If it was just 70% attack across the board for everybody, I think I would like her a lot more. And obviously, if her alt swap was unrestricted orb chain or alt swap, then I would like her a lot more. If she gave 80% attack and triple alt swapped away, she'd probably be up there as one of those really top tier characters because she can help any team. But that's not what she is, and it doesn't look like that's the way this game is trending right now. Having two back-to-back, very limited elemental-only alt swaps in Blanc and Violet leads me to believe they're going to continue that trend, which is a bit unfortunate. But we did make Violet look good. We did use her on a team that was not focused on her, and she still did contribute, a decent amount. So I can't say she's awful. She's good. She's an EX Unbound character. She's brand spanking new. She's good. Albus, Momiji and Maribel, I think, are good support characters who are mostly generic. Maribel, with her barriers, is not, but I mean, her orb change is good. It's unrestricted. I think this team is just held back by the gimmick of barriers, which I don't think is very good. but the other units that have come out, I think, are fine. Which, what do I say about that? Who did I liken that to last time? Well, it'd be Divine General. You know, Diablo, Raphael, Master Hero Blanc, they're all good characters. It's just held back by freaking Gazel. Alright, this team is so good, but not because of Gazel. This team is so good, but because of the gimmick. Individual units are fine. Violet's fine. I like her. She's fine. But I'm not going to use her, and I'm not going to try and shoehorn her into random teams that don't need her. That's the thing. So I think we're going to end the video. Overall, again, fine. Fine unit. Nothing super exceptional, but not down in the dump trash. Should you summon for her after seeing this? Still no. Still no. Because if you don't have the Festive Memories team, she's not going to work really that well, as kind of proved. As there's not a lot of places you can truly use her to full potential. So I just recommend not summoning on this. But let me know what you guys think. That's it from me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.